just thought I'd take a short break just to let you know about becoming a Breakout Bestie. So we've launched a brand new subscription service for the small businesses that need us in your pocket. So why do you need to become a Breakout Bestie? Well, it's just a monthly subscription that gives you access to us when you need us. There's a closed group where you can ask us any question you need. There's also an anonymous posting on, so if you've got clients in the same group, you can ask us anything and we'll get back to you. Sometimes that'll be a quick answer, other times it might be that we need a bit more of an in-depth chat. There'll also be posts and information on the latest trends, the latest strategies for social media, upcoming things from HMRC that you may have missed, just anything you need to make your life easier to run your business. You'll also have access to our client base and money off discounts and vouchers for various services we've got coming out. This is brand new, it's only just been launched, so have a look, go on our website under Besties and sign up soon. Now, there's only so far you can say that imitation is a form of flattery, and it is 100%. If someone's doing well, someone will copy them. The difference is if it's done really, really well or if it's not. It's very easy for a service to be exactly the same. So it's kind of, you have to step back and go, are they copying you? Are they imitating you? Because if they're trying to and they've seen your success, how long can they carry it on for? Hi and welcome to Business Rainbows and Unicorns, where there's no such thing as failure if you don't try. This podcast is specifically for business owners or wannabe business owners. Say you've got a side hustle or you've got a passion for something and you think it'd be absolutely amazing, or you see people that do amazing things with their passions and what they enjoy doing. Well, you can do that. So please subscribe and we hope you enjoy listening to this episode. Hi and welcome to Breakout Business Rainbows and Unicorns, where there's no such thing as failure if you don't try. Today we're talking about imitation, which is a polite way of talking about people copying each other. Now, I've spoken to many local suppliers and clients over the last 3 years who have had, whether you say people have definitely copied them or they've just been inspired by them, or don't know how quite you'd word it, but they feel like they've been copied or imitated. Now, there's only so far you can say that imitation is a form of flattery, and it is 100%. If someone's doing well, someone will copy them. So if you look at some of the massive brands we've got worldwide in the UK, people will copy them. Dare I say it, in terms of Lidl versus Audi, how similar they are, even in terms of their logo, their setup, how they work, and to the point where they're both still going. So what comes first? Everyone knows about Colin and Cuthbert the Caterpillars, M&S versus Audi, and that's created a massive marketing campaign on that. So I think I dread to think how many followers Audi got off the back of that. Yes, it did go legal, because it was imitation, but how much that's grown their account, and they've used it as a good thing. So there's arguments of for and against it and what you can do. The biggest thing is, though, if you find someone or you feel like someone is imitating you, then I would decide to, well, it's up to you what you decide what to do. But when I've talked to clients where it has actually happened, they've actually stopped following them, stopped looking at what they're doing, so they can not let it wind them up. Because you wouldn't go to, if there's certain people you wouldn't go to advice for, then you wouldn't go for feedback or criticism from either. So to switch them off, just don't look at them, don't check what they're doing. You don't need to know, and you won't let it bother you. And that's one way of doing it. One client I know has gone as far as blocking everybody. So anyone similar, they just block them because they just don't want to see things. And you have to remember there's a lot of things. We're not reinventing the wheel here. There's a lot of things. I didn't invent social media or business support. So people will do it, but it's doing it in your own way. Now, when I talk to people who have just set up, we talk about where'd you start? Where'd you get your ideas from? And when I say ideas, it's normally social media ideas. people have set up a business. So let's take cleaning businesses as an example. People set up a cleaning business, and there's massive demand for cleaning businesses, a bit like pet sitting. Huge demand for it at the moment. And cleaning's cleaning and pet sitting's pet sitting. The difference is if it's done really, really well or if it's not. Now, if you're doing it really, really well, you can't be accused of copying or imitating people, because a bit like cleaning, it's very similar or the same service. Yes, we could go down a rabbit hole in terms of cleaning, go and do you specialise in oven cleaning? Do you do car cleaning? Is it house cleaning? And you might specialise, or certain companies might specialise in one area. But overall, if you're doing a cleaning business, you will cut and paste. You are cleaning, house cleaning, for example, you're doing the same thing. Now, when it comes to imitation, the imitation it normally comes from social media in terms of the posts people are putting out, what their logo looks like, what they're talking about. And it's very easy for a service to be exactly the same. So it's kind of, you have to step back and go, are they copying you? Are they imitating you? Because if they're trying to and they've seen your success, how long can they carry it on for? Well, I've know businesses, they've gone so far as to actually their pictures have been lifted and shifted and used across other people's social media accounts. This is where you'll see watermarks or certain things go across, so that's not very easy to do. However, they need the reality to back it up. So if you think about it, if you're providing an amazing service, someone comes along out the blue, starts doing exactly the same thing, they put it out there, they might copy your social media, but they're not going to copy you, so it's not going to be the same in real life as they're putting out on social media. And also, it's up to them to hold that up, to get behind what they're putting out there. They might say they're an amazing cleaner, but someone might take them on, or a customer might take them on. They might not be as amazing as they're putting out there. So you've kind of got to take comfort in the fact of no one's going to be you. Yes, they can copy your social media posts and loosely do the same as you, but they're not going to give the same service as you. And the same goes for products as well. Locally, if it's locally made and well made, handmade, products are going to be more expensive. So you will then notice that a lot of people will go, the classic is, oh no, I buy that from Amazon because it's a lot cheaper. It's going to be cheaper, it's mass produced, the quality's normally not as good, but then the aftercare of service won't be the same. However, locally, you might find that people are, let's take candles, for example. People might make the same candles, but what's the point of difference? It might be the person making them behind it. It might be their personality. It might be the various scents. It might be the scents they use. It might be the fact that they've done all the checks and they've upheld all the terms and conditions and the information that comes, safety warnings, etc., etc. They know that the product they're making, what the materials are, what they're putting into their candles is safe to use. Someone else might just be reselling something off of AliExpress. That's where, as a consumer, you want to be really, really thorough in looking at what you're buying and where you're buying it from. But that's also where you need to do your research. I do know of local suppliers, and they do sell, they're gorgeous candles, but they haven't got a story behind it. 9 times out of 10, if they haven't got a story behind it, they're not going to be locally made, because why wouldn't you shout about that if you've not made it yourself? The other thing is the behind-the-scenes content. So if you are making your own products, then stories are a great way to do your behind-the-scenes content. How you source the materials, how you put the products, your final product together. Talking constantly about that, because it just completely pushes the story of how it's made, what you're doing, how well it's made, what goes into it. You're telling your customers just through a reel or video or TikTok or picture or story, and it just reinforces the reason why they're spending a bit more for your product rather than something off the shelf that hasn't been checked. They haven't done all the quality control and checked the materials. They've literally just bought something cheap off AliExpress, put a profit margin on it, made it pretty and reselling it. So it's just knowing and doing your research for that. And as a consumer, you need to do that. And if you're a conscious buyer and consumer, that's brilliant. But if you're making your own, if you're the supplier, if you're making your own products or selling your own services, you need to have the same respect for everyone who you're buying from, but also putting that out there to tell your story and explain to exactly what's behind your product. Because people who are just trying to copy others can't do that. They look for quick ways, quick money, getting rich schemes, quick ways of making money. And unfortunately, copying others or cutting and pasting pictures or stories or information isn't going to solve that for them. And that's another reason why it's really important for some people. And I know it's really, really difficult for some, but putting your name and face behind the business as well. No one can take that away from you. If you truly, truly love what you do and you can put your picture, your face, your name across everything, watermark everything, you then have confidence in your brand. And you've built a brand up, but that includes you as well, which no one can imitate. No one can copy that. No one can give you like you. No one's similar to you. No one's the same as you. It's you're coming through your product and service. Going back to when we were talking about the not inventing anything new, that's where the service comes into it. So a lot of products or services where people will try and sell or copy someone else's, they don't know what they're doing behind the business. They don't fully understand the customer service part and the hard work that goes behind it. Normally people that are imitating or copying are looking for that quick fix. So when someone does buy it, you need to be safe in the knowledge. Yes, they might have other sales, people might be selling buying more from them, but they might not get the aftercare from it. They might not get the quality from it. And that's where you need to believe and trust in your product or service. And sometimes, yes, it's frustrating because then you're having to push water uphill even more to make people understand the quality and service. Because, say, for example, one thing we're looking to launch is an online course. Anyone who's consistently on social media will see there are millions and millions of courses out there. There's so many things you can sign up to and buy for X amount of money a month or X amount of money as a one-off. And once they get that, it hasn't got this quality and the product and the information you would expect from the value for money of what you've invested your hard-earned cash into. That then makes it difficult for someone who's genuinely put their heart and soul into a product or service to sell it. Like, well, I've tried one of them, I've bought one of them, it's no good. So you then feel you have to double up your marketing efforts. Now, this is where it's important to know and where it would be to either block people or unfollow people, because it might not come to reality of what they're putting across social media. And yes, it's frustrating, but if you can get an idea from customers, your customers know how good you are, your customers are recommending you, and your customers genuinely believe in your product or service, that's who you want to listen to. You don't want to listen to other people in terms of if they've tried to cut a corner or they're trying to get more value out of something, because you're not getting that value for money. I know of several tradesmen who are getting undercut on quotes now. People want cheap, absolutely fine, but when they've saved £200-300 on a several £1,000 quote and the products aren't great, the materials aren't great, the service isn't great, they've actually gone back to the original tradesman and said, well, you quoted for this, so can you come back and do that work? Because I paid for it and it's really, really awful. And funnily enough, the tradesman will come back and say no. You will either have to pay double because you then have to pay them to do the correct job if they haven't used the original person hasn't used the right materials. They then won't correct someone else's work either, especially if they've used cheaper materials. And it's frustrating for them. You have to believe in your product and service. and really tell people whys and wherefores to make them understand why they won't take the cheaper quote. I've been speaking to a local gas engineer. He's currently quoting for, obviously, when your house gets fully redone in terms of a boiler and all the radiators. He's lost 2 jobs now because people have quoted for cheaper radiators. And when I say cheaper, they're a third off the total cost of the radiators. So it's a hefty chunk of change, which is fine, but they put out a third of the heat as well. So the conversation from that was to be upfront about it. So he sends a quote to say, this is what I would recommend, this is what I would fit, this is what I would have in my own home. So if it's a product or service you would buy or use, then be upfront and honest. However, if you're looking to cut costs, you can cut costs in terms of materials, and I wouldn't use them, but this is why they're a third of the price, and they work, they're a third less heat kicking out, for want of a better reason. So it's being upfront and honest and getting that communication with people. And that's another thing of not every company does that. Not every person who runs a small business does that. It's all well and good that you can put out beautiful social media, and some people are very, very good at it. If you look at some of the faceless accounts that have now popped up across social media, people can, and I can tell you exactly where those templates come from. So it gets people to look, and while they're scrolling, they're looking at these pretty pictures, and it's that aspiration for that product, that service, how to live their life and what they need to do. But a lot of people don't realise the work that goes behind it. So that customer service and that level of communication is crucial, because not everyone will do that to every single customer. And that's what people can't imitate and they can't copy. And I get that it's frustrating in getting people to realise that, but they soon will, and soon word gets round. One of the things when we opened Breakout was to work on word of mouth. So we had a lot of people come in, they'd ask us to help them. We would help for, a minute less. Be like, what do I owe you? Do you know what? I can't charge for that. I helped you within a minute. However, if you just tell 3 people today how helpful we were, so we'd built up that brand, we've built up that reputation. And if you can build that up for yourself, you then don't need to worry about anyone else, because yes, it's a form of flattery, but they can't hold it up. They can't carry on and deal with that, produce that level of service and that level of quality to anyone else like you can. And it's after that is the social media of keeping it up. So their social media might look lovely, but they've got to follow it up from that. So when someone buys something or someone gets in touch or books them for that service, they need to have that level of service consistently across from everyone else. So that's why I always think it's good to ask every single customer for a review, testimonial, because people will ask about you and your business. And people believe other people. I could sit here and say, oh my God, Breakout's absolutely amazing. Everyone needs us. We work with everyone. We can do that. We're the best of the best. However, if someone else tells you that and it's not me, who are you going to believe more? I'm going to say that. Of course I'm going to say that. It's my business. It's my money. However, if someone else says it to you, it's worth 10 times the amount. So that's where Google reviews, Facebook reviews, anything you can get, those emails that people come back, even if you use things like Square to take your payments, people put a review on there. So you just collect up this list of testimonials and reviews to just back up your service, because if it is from someone else, they will believe it 10 times more than believing it direct from you. So the last point to note is that you can gain inspiration from others. However, make sure they're far away. Don't gain inspiration from the cafe next door that does exactly the same. So where I say exactly the same, like for example, the cafes and tea rooms in our village is a classic example, but each of them have got a USP. One does afternoon teas, one does breakfasts, one does extra special bakes. It's all slightly different. They all have different types of coffee. So anyone that loves a cup of coffee will know where to get their favourite coffee. I'm not saying the best coffee, because my favourite coffee and your favourite coffee might be very, very different. But have a look from others far away. So one of the things we did when we opened, we looked at co-working spaces in America and Australia. more Australia because that was our vibe and that was the kind of thing we were looking for. And I was inspired by more of the design, the ways of working, and the business support that is over there. So I haven't copied anyone. We've still got our own brand, but I've gained inspiration from the setup, for the opening hours, the way of working. And that's what's important, because you're not inventing anything brand new, you can get inspiration from others, and that's where you get stuck. But just don't cut and paste, don't copy. So the main thing out of all of this is you should have the confidence to be yourself, to be you, be your brand, your product, and go for it. If you're a bit different, if you're a bit Marmite from people, and I know a few people that will fully admit to being Marmite, that's fine, because you want to work with the people that like you. You don't want to work with the people that don't. And that's what's important. You will not be everything to everyone. If you try and be everything to everyone, you'll fail. You'll be disappointed. You'll feel let down. You'll feel like a failure. Because trust me, we come from, been there, done that. We have tried absolutely everything to see what works and what doesn't. And that does not work. Whereas if you can be yourself, work with the people you want to work with the people you like, work with people that like you, you'll enjoy it 10 times more. And also the fact that you'll be surrounded by people that big you up, that enjoy your company, that want to work with you, and you get more from as well. So to take from all this is to have the confidence to be yourself, gain inspiration from others, but far away, not next door neighbours. You're not inventing anything, but just be yourself and do it your own way. And that in itself is a new way of working. And make sure your social media meets the reality. Your social media has to match what product and service you will give in real life. And keep it up as well. So yes, take away for those that are frustrated that imitation is a form of flattery, and it will happen. It's not going to go away. But make the most of it and deal with it in your own way. And if you can't, if it's still frustrating, if you have any issues, you know where we are. Drop us a message, drop us an email, get in touch, sign up to be a bestie, because in our private group there are so many people that will put in their frustrations for a day, and it's just that reassurance that other people are having the same issues. It's not just you on your own out there. So thanks for listening. Please like and share with anyone you think might be going through similar, and subscribe to our podcast. Thanks. Thanks for listening to this episode. We really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please share with a friend who you think needs a bit of help with starting a business, or even their small business which they've already got going. Please like and subscribe to our podcast, which always helps a small business or small podcast like us. And check the show notes. We all have everything in there relating to the episode which you might need, might want to read, and links to anyone we've interviewed and certain subjects we've spoken about. And thanks for listening.